The most profound stories often revolve around the transformation of individuals, showcasing their journey from ordinary to extraordinary. Breaking Bad stands out as a masterclass in storytelling, illustrating this journey with unprecedented depth and complexity. What makes Walter White's story particularly compelling is not just his rise to power, but the philosophical questions it raises. As we explore his transformation, we confront the nature of identity and moral ambiguity. How does a man's pursuit of survival and personal ambition lead him to redefine his own ethics? Walter White's journey from a humble high school chemistry teacher to a notorious drug lord is more than just a dramatic story. It's a profound exploration of identity and morality. Walter White starts as a dedicated chemistry teacher, struggling with unfulfilled potential and financial hardship. His life takes a drastic turn when he's diagnosed with terminal lung cancer. Faced with the grim reality of leaving his family in financial ruin, Walter makes a pivotal choice: to produce methamphetamine to secure their future. And he meets and becomes a partner with his former student Jesse, who knows the streets well. This decision highlights the tension between fate and free will. Is Walter's transformation a consequence of his choices, or is it driven by circumstances beyond his control? Adopting the alias Heisenberg, Walter enters the drug trade with a blend of scientific brilliance and ruthless ambition. His meteoric rise in the criminal world is marked by an extraordinary production of high-quality meth, symbolizing his departure from his former life. Walter's transformation reflects Nietzsche's concept of the will to power. His ambition to dominate and control his environment transcends traditional moral boundaries, reshaping his identity. However, the cost of Walter's newfound power becomes evident. His dual life strains his relationships and leads to increasing paranoia. The very empire he builds becomes his downfall, illustrating the illusion of control and the peril of unchecked ambition. Walter's collapse serves as a powerful reminder of the limits of personal power and the consequences of ethical compromise. His story is a cautionary tale about the risks of pursuing power at any cost. Walter White's evolution challenges us to reflect on the nature of identity, morality, and ambition. His journey from teacher to criminal mastermind prompts us to question how far we might go in our own search for meaning and power. Death is a fundamental aspect of human existence, a topic that has intrigued philosophers for centuries. It forces us to confront the finitude of our lives and the meaning we derive from our experiences. Walter White's journey in Breaking Bad provides a profound canvas to explore the philosophy of death and its implications on identity and morality. Existentialist philosophers like Jean-Paul Sartre and Martin Heidegger argue that the awareness of our mortality is central to understanding our existence. For Walter White, the confrontation with his imminent death catalyzes a radical transformation. His terminal lung cancer diagnosis strips away the illusions of permanence, compelling him to reevaluate his life's meaning and purpose. In existentialist terms, Walter's diagnosis is his moment of authenticity. It forces him to acknowledge the temporality of his being and prompts him to take decisive action. However, instead of seeking peace or reconciliation, Walter chooses to defy his fate by embracing the criminal world, driven by a desire to leave a legacy and secure his family's future. By adopting the persona of Heisenberg, Walter redefines himself, not as a victim of his circumstances, but as an agent of his destiny. His defiance of death is evident in his refusal to succumb quietly to his illness. Instead, he channels his fear of mortality into a quest for power, mastery, and immortality through his criminal empire. The philosopher Emmanuel Levinas posits that our awareness of death should heighten our sense of responsibility towards others. In stark contrast, Walter's actions increasingly alienate him from his family and moral values. His pursuit of power comes at a significant moral cost, leading to a paradox where his attempt to affirm his existence results in the erosion of his humanity. This ethical dilemma underscores a critical aspect of the philosophy of death: the tension between self-assertion and ethical responsibility. Martin Heidegger's notion of being toward death suggests that authentic existence arises from facing our mortality head-on and living in accordance with that awareness. Walter's final acts, his attempt to atone for his sins and secure his family's future, can be seen as a belated recognition of this principle. In the end, Walter's life is a poignant exploration of the philosophy of death. His journey from teacher to drug lord encapsulates the existential struggle with mortality, the will to power, and the ethical complexities of living authentically. As we reflect on Walter White's story, we are reminded of the delicate balance between embracing our mortality and the responsibility we owe to ourselves and others. Walter White's transformation invites us to ponder our own lives. How does our awareness of death shape our choices? Can we find meaning and purpose without compromising our ethical values? These questions remain as relevant today as ever, urging us to live with a deeper sense of awareness and responsibility. Ego, a fundamental aspect of the human psyche, shapes our identity, drives our ambitions, and influences our interactions with the world. Philosophers and psychologists alike have long debated the nature of ego, its benefits, and its pitfalls. In the journey of Walter White from Breaking Bad, we witness a profound exploration of ego's power and its consequences. At the heart of Walter White's transformation lies a burgeoning ego, awakened by his cancer diagnosis. Initially, Walter's decision to cook meth is driven by a desire to provide for his family. Yet as he delves deeper into the criminal world, his ego begins to surface, revealing a hunger for control, power, and recognition. This shift marks the beginning of Walter's metamorphosis into Heisenberg. Friedrich Nietzsche's philosophy provides a compelling lens through which to view Walter's journey. Nietzsche's concept of the will to power emphasizes the intrinsic drive within individuals to assert and enhance their existence. For Walter, the meth business becomes more than a means to an end. It becomes an arena for him to exercise his will to power. His ego fuels his ascent, as he seeks not just financial gain, but dominion over his world. Ego, however, is a double-edged sword. It can drive innovation, ambition, and success, but it can also lead to arrogance, hubris, and moral blindness. Walter's ego-driven actions exemplify this duality. As Heisenberg, he creates a criminal empire, demonstrating his genius and capability. Yet this same ego blinds him to the ethical ramifications of his actions, leading to a path of destruction for himself and those around him. The ancient Greeks spoke of hubris, an excessive pride that leads to downfall. Walter's ego morphs into hubris as he refuses to acknowledge the damage his actions inflict on his family and friends. His insistence on control and recognition alienates him from those he claims to protect. This ethical myopia underscores the dangers of an unchecked ego. Walter's ego also drives a profound self-deception. He rationalizes his increasingly violent and unethical actions under the guise of providing for his family. This moral justification is a defense mechanism, allowing him to maintain his self-image despite the growing evidence of his moral decline. The ego, in its quest for validation, often blinds us to the true nature of our actions. In classical tragedies, the hero's downfall is often precipitated by a tragic flaw. For Walter White, this flaw is his ego. His relentless pursuit of power and recognition ultimately leads to his undoing. The empire he built crumbles, leaving him isolated and broken. His story serves as a modern parable about the perils of letting ego dictate our lives. Walter White's journey invites us to reflect on our own lives and the role of ego within them. It challenges us to consider the balance between ambition and ethical integrity. While ego can drive us to achieve great things, it can also lead us astray if left unchecked. Walter's story is a cautionary tale, urging us to remain vigilant against the seductive power of ego. As we ponder the life of Walter White, we are reminded of the delicate balance between self-assertion and humility. His transformation from teacher to drug lord encapsulates the profound impact of ego on the human condition. Walter White's legacy, both as a brilliant chemist and as Heisenberg, endures as a testament to the complex interplay of ambition, power, and morality. As we reach the conclusion of our exploration, it's essential to reflect on the duality that defines Walter White's journey. On one hand, we have Walter White, the dedicated family man and brilliant chemistry teacher. On the other, we have Heisenberg, the ruthless drug lord who commands fear and respect. This dichotomy is central to understanding the complexities of his character. In the end, Walter White experiences profound defeat. The man who once sought to secure his family's future becomes the very force that endangers them. His relationships are shattered, his moral compass is lost, and his legacy is one of destruction and pain. Walter's downfall is marked by regret, loss, and the collapse of his carefully constructed life. Conversely, Heisenberg achieves a different kind of victory. As Heisenberg, Walter asserts his power and dominance, achieving feats that elevate his status in the criminal underworld. His intellect and cunning lead to a series of victories that solidify his name. Yet these victories are Pyrrhic. They come at the cost of his humanity, morality, and ultimately his life. The Ozymandias episode of Breaking Bad poignantly mirrors Percy Bysshe Shelley's poem Ozymandias. Both the episode and the poem serve as meditations on the impermanence of power and the inevitable decline of even the mightiest rulers. In Shelley's poem, a traveler describes the remnants of a colossal statue in the desert. The inscription reads, "My name is Ozymandias, King of Kings. Look on my works, ye mighty, and despair. Yet all that remains are decayed ruins, surrounded by endless sands." This stark imagery highlights the fleeting nature of human achievement and pride. In the Ozymandias episode, we witness the dramatic fall of Walter's empire. His power, once seemingly unassailable, crumbles under the weight of his ego and the consequences of his actions. Just like the ruins of Ozymandias, Walter's empire is reduced to nothing.